Chapter 519, Gargoyles and Spy Girls. Part 1, Gargoyle Defenders of the Night. It starts with me, Nico, Lincoln, Wolverine, Beast Boy, Earth and Laney flying over the heart of the city at sunset. We were out on our patrol making sure that the city was safe. Me, so far everything looks okay. Laney, yep. Lincoln, so far. Nico, I don't think we've been to this part of the city before. Me, neither have I. We then saw a huge tower. Me, wow. What a tower. Laney, let's check it out. Me, okay. We fly up to the top of the tower and we saw an old medieval castle right on top of the tower. Me, wow. Laney, what a beautiful castle. Nico, I never knew this was here before. Me neither. Lincoln, how did they bring a medieval castle like this here? Earth, that's what I would like to know. Me, let's check it out. We go to the castle and saw that it was over 1,000 years old and was a breathtaking sight. Me, this is a European Dark Ages castle. Over 1,000 years old. Earth, it looks like it was built back in the 10th century. The Vikings terrorized much of Europe back then. Me, I know. Those were dark times back then. We go up to the castle top near the towers and saw amazing gargoyle statues. Laney, those gargoyle statues are amazing. Lincoln, they sure are. Me, gargoyles are the guardians of the church and they are believed to be the creatures that protect the church from the wicked. Nico, that's amazing. Me, I don't know about this guys but I sense that those gargoyles are alive somehow. Lincoln, I feel it too. Wolverine, something doesn't smell right. Beast Boy, I feel it. Nico, same here. I saw that the sun was almost set. Me, looks like we'll find out shortly. When the sun was down and the darkness of night came we saw an unexpected surprise. We saw the statues crack and shatter and they became alive in flesh. The gargoyles roared as they awoke from their slumber. We gasped in sheer amazement and horror at the same time. Me, incredible. Lincoln, they're alive. Laney, how is that possible? Nico, I don't know. The gargoyles saw us and came down to us. Me, we mean you all no harm. My name is JD Knudsen and we saw your castle here on this tower and wanted to check it out. Goliath, so you are the famous JD Knudsen. We were told so many things about you and your friends. I'm Goliath, leader of the Manhattan clan. Hudson, Scottish accent, I'm Hudson lads. Pleasure. Angela, I'm Angela. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. Brooklyn, I'm Brooklyn. Lexington, Lexington. Broadway, Broadway. Cold Fire, I'm Cold Fire. Coldstone, I'm Coldstone. Nash, I'm Nashville but everyone calls me Nash. Katana, I'm Katana. Lexington, and these two are Bronx and Foo Dog. Me, it's a pleasure to meet all of you. I'm JD Knudsen. Nico, I'm Nicholas Chan but everyone calls me Nico. Lincoln, I'm Lincoln Loud. Laney, I'm his little sister Laney Loud. Wolverine, I'm Logan but everyone calls me Wolverine. Beast Boy, I'm Garfield Logan but everyone calls me Beast Boy. Earth, and I am Earth. Goliath, we are honored to meet all of you. Me, have a lot of questions we want to ask you. Goliath, you want to know what we were like back 1,000 years ago. Me, that's one of our first questions, yes. Goliath, very well. It was back 1,024 years ago. Flashback, 994 AD. Goliath, narrating, superstition in the sword ruled. It was a time of darkness. It was a world of fear. It was the age of gargoyles. Stone by day, warriors by night. Goliath and his clan lived in Scotland in Western Europe and were very powerful warriors back then. They swore to protect all the humans they knew back then from all threats. The most dangerous kinds of our people were the Vikings of the European Dark Ages. In 994 AD, Castle Wyvern sheltered some peasant refugees being chased by Hakon and his Vikings. When a few gargoyles were playing with Bronx, a small fight broke out between the young gargoyles and the peasants. Goliath sent the gargoyles and the beast down to the rookery as a punishment. Fortunately for the group, this punishment proved to save their lives. During the day, the Vikings sacked the castle and smashed all the sleeping gargoyles. Bronx, along with the other surviving members of the clan, went to avenge their slain clanmates and were cursed to sleep until the castle rose above the clouds. 1024 years later, earlier in 2018, David Xanatos purchased Castle Wyvern, and topped his skyscraper with the castle, thus breaking the spell. Like his fellow clanmates, Bronx was named after a New York place name, the Bronx. Goliath, we were betrayed by the humans we had sworn to protect. Frozen in stone by a magic spell for 1,000 years. Now here in Gotham Royal York, the spell is broken and we live again. Flashback ends. We were both shocked and amazed at the same time. Me, that's incredible. Lincoln, after 1,000 years you've come back. Angela, yes. We are a clan that has sworn to protect refugee humans and we still have a lot to learn about this time. Me, I would be too if I were frozen in stone for 1,000 years. I would be too. We saw a woman wearing a red coat, black shirt, and blue pants and shoes. Me, Detective Elisa Mazza. Good to see you again. Elisa, you too JD. I see you met my friends here. Me, we did. Goliath, Elisa is a member of our clan. She helped us a lot in the past. Me, I believe it. Lincoln, Angela, can I ask you a quick question? Angela, sure Lincoln. Lincoln, wasn't there another member of your clan that we were told that betrayed you? Angela looked down. Lincoln, oh man. I guess I reopened a bad wound. Goliath, I can tell them Angela. Her mother was a member of our clan who wants to destroy all of humanity. Her name is Demona and she was my former mate. We gasped when we were told that. Me, what happened? Goliath, the history with Angela and Demona is not a good one. I'll start with Demona's story. Demona was hatched in the year 938. By 971, she was Goliath's mate and a respected member of their clan. Like the rest of the clan, Demona originally had no formal name, though Goliath frequently referred to her as his Angel of the Night. However, the young Demona had already begun to develop the weaknesses that would lead her down a dark path to come. Showing a strong interest in magic, she secretly entered into the Archmage's service as his apprentice, in which role she served largely as a servant and errand runner. The Archmage treated her harshly, but she was able to develop an aptitude in sorcery through his teachings. He also taught her to read, and she in turn taught Goliath. In 975, the Archmage commanded her to steal the Phoenix Gate from Princess Elena. Just after Demona stole the gate, an older version of herself appeared with a duplicate Phoenix Gate, and whisked them both away to the year 994, accompanied by an older version of Goliath, both from the year 1995. There, the older Demona showed the younger one the aftermath of the Wyvern massacre and Goliath's petrified form on the battlements, urging her to use the Phoenix Gate to avert this disaster and destroy the humans. The younger Demona was horrified at her future self's coldness and callousness, and refused to become like her, but was also disturbed at what she had seen. The Goliath from the future did what he could to comfort her, urging her to not worry about this catastrophe but to remain true to her love. The younger Demona then returned herself and the two time travelers to 975, where she hid the Phoenix Gate from the Archmage, pretending that she had lost it. The Archmage, furious, cast her off as his apprentice then and there. Afterward, Demona and Goliath attended Prince Malcolm's wedding. She broke the Phoenix Gate in half there, giving one half of it to him as a token of her love, while keeping the other half for the same purpose. As Demona aged, she became one of the greatest warriors of her clan, protecting the humans of the castle but remaining troubled over the vision of the future she saw and becoming more and more angry by the humans' treatment of her and her kind. In 984, her former teacher the Archmage tried to take over Wyvern but was defeated. In a last attempt to kill Prince Malcolm, the human leader at the time, the Archmage shot him with a poisonous dart which only a spell from the Grimoire Arcanorm could cure. The clan's leader, known later as Hudson, was entrusted to bring back the book and he decided to take Goliath, by this point the clan's second-in-command, and Demona with him. Together they tracked the Archmage to a cave and were able to retrieve the book and return it to Castle Wyvern, saving Prince Malcolm's life. Demona expressed many misgivings over Hudson's advancing age and ability to lead, and it was this in Hudson's own feelings on the matter that convinced Hudson to step down and allow Goliath to lead. In truth, she wanted Goliath to lead out of her own self-interest, and Goliath soon made her his second-in-command. In 987, Demona and Goliath conceived a child and the next year Demona laid the egg in the rookery of the clan among many others. By 994, Demona had become resentful of human prejudice toward her clan and conspired with the captain of the guard to betray the humans inhabiting Castle Wyvern to Hakon and his Vikings. The two urged Goliath to take the entire clan and drive the Vikings away from the castle, intending for Castle Wyvern to be captured in the Gargoyles' absence at night. But Goliath, unwilling to leave the castle undefended, only took Hudson with him. The captain, desperate to have the plan succeed, decided to have Hakon attack during the daytime instead. Demona was alarmed, knowing that in the daytime, the clan would be trapped in its stone sleep and defenseless. She dared not warn the rest of the Gargoyles, however, for fear that if she did so, she might have to reveal her part in the conspiracy, and so she fled alone to hide upon the beach. She awakened that night, and returned to find her clan slaughtered by the Vikings. Horrified and grief-stricken, she hid herself when Goliath returned to the castle, too afraid to face him. By the time she returned, Goliath and 5 other survivors had already been put under the stone sleep curse by the Magus. Looking up at her mate's petrified form, Demona cried out, "What have they done to you?" In that moment, her mood changed from grief to anger and hatred, burying her guilt underneath her rage at the humans, blaming them for her woes so that she could avoid facing her own responsibility for her actions. She saw below Princess Catherine, the Magus, and Tom loading the rookery eggs on the cart and driving away with them, but made no effort to go after them as she was unable to face the eggs. Instead, she kissed the stone Goliath one last time and glided away, sending herself into exile. Demona discovers the massacre of the Sruinglia cell. Alone for several years, Demona had an encounter with a child named Gillicomgain, scarring his face during a petty theft. Gillicomgain became the hunter, a mercenary, an assassin seeking revenge against her and her race. Demona continued to wander about Scotland, attacking any human who got in her way and stealing food to survive. By 997, Demona was leading a scattered clan of Gargoyles, the survivors of clans that had been destroyed by the humans, including Demona's second. Learning from the lessons of the past, she arranged for the clan to sleep in different places, so if one cell was discovered and destroyed the rest would live on. The entire Sruinglia cell of Demona's clan was later massacred by King Constantine and Gillicomgain. Amid their remains, Demona discovered a wanted poster left behind for Mary and Fenella and discovered that they possessed the Grimoire. Shortly after, Demona was approached by a time-traveling Brooklyn who explained his presence by pretending that he avoided the Magus's curse. At Brooklyn's behest, Demona brought her scattered clan together to help Kenneth III, the Grim, battle Constantine, although she secretly planned to betray the Grim after Constantine was defeated and use the Grimoire to bring Scotland to its knees. After Brother Volmont used the Grimoire Arcanorm to create a rain of fire arrows during the battle, Brooklyn cut Volmont's hand off to get the Grimoire back. Demona was able to seize the book and reverse his spell, if not the consequences. After Constantine was defeated, the Phoenix appeared to spirit Brooklyn away. Knowing he couldn't let Demona keep the Grimoire, Brooklyn offered to hold the book for her while she reached for her half of the Phoenix Gate, letting her believe she needed it to control the phoenix. As the years passed, the grown-up Gillicomgain, as the hunter, had become one of Damona's worst enemies, and a danger to all the surviving gargoyles left in Scotland as well. In 1020, the Weird Sisters persuaded Damona to attack the hunter at Castle Moray, when he went there on Prince Duncan's orders to assassinate Find Lake and Macbeth. Despite her hatred for humans, during the battle Damona chose to save a young Macbeth and grew oak even though it meant letting Gillicomgain escape. In 1032, Macbeth and Damona faced Gillicomgain together again. This time Macbeth was able to save Damona's life and the battle ended with Gillicomgain's death. Later, an elderly Damona entered into a bargain with Macbeth to defeat a common enemy, Macbeth's cousin Duncan I of Scotland. Macbeth wanted Damona's help protecting his kingdom, while Damona wanted her youth back so she could lead the last of her kind. The pact was facilitated by the Weird Sisters, who caused her and Macbeth to switch ages, making Macbeth 51 and Damona the gargoyle equivalent of 35, the age that Macbeth was then. In so doing, they also made them both unaging and immortal, only able to die if one slew the other, something the sisters conveniently forgot to mention at the time. Macbeth himself soon came to admire Damona's combat prowess, and eventually became heavily dependent on Damona's clan for support in the war with Duncan's forces. In the final battle with Duncan, Damona's devastating attacks so impressed Macbeth, he exclaimed, "You fight like a demon." After becoming king, Macbeth called her Damona, she-demon, for the first time, a name she found very pleasing, and simultaneously declared her to be his primary advisor. The two became fast friends. Eventually, Damona's trust in Macbeth evaporated after overhearing Macbeth considering on betraying her to win the support of the English. Fearing that this would come to pass, she abandoned his forces to Duncan's son Canmore and the English armies. Canmore, in turn, betrayed her, killing the last of her clan. Damona was alone once again, the last gargoyle alive in Scotland, and eventually she fled for other parts of the world. Damona would not enter into another alliance with a human for almost 1,000 years. During the intervening time, she amassed a substantial fortune and plotted her revenge on humanity, all the while being pursued both by Macbeth, who first hunted her to seek revenge and later simply to end his long life, and by a new line of hunters descended from Canmore, who had somehow learned of her survival and chosen to hunt her down. Growing increasingly bitter towards humans, she finally decided that she must destroy them all, partly as the only means of ensuring survival for herself and what little remained of her race, partly as a means of gaining her revenge. Goliath, Damona betrayed all of us and she swore to kill everyone in humanity. Me, that's awful. Damona is a demon hellbent on annihilating all of us. Lainey, she must be stopped. Me, but Goliath, I have a proposition for all of your clan. Goliath, what is it? Me, how would you all like to never become stone again and walk among us in the daytime as humans for 12 hours and be gargoyles at night? Goliath, do you have that kind of power? Me, I do. My power is omnipotent and I have the power to do anything. This way you can walk in both worlds. Does everyone trust you again? Goliath, they do. They now know that we are not monsters, but angels of the night. Me, I'm glad and we have no intention of ever betraying you. You have our word of honor. Goliath, you got a deal. Me, okay. It'll work with a simple snap of my fingers. Snap's fingers, we'll know if it worked in the morning. Elisa, I want to walk in both worlds too. Me, are you sure, Elisa? Elisa, yes. I'm positive. Me, okay. Snap's fingers. Elisa started to change. Elisa's body felt like it was on fire. Elisa's shoes were getting tight before gargoyle feet ripped out of them. Elisa, horrified my feet. Goliath, you were a gargoyle before Elisa. Remember? Elisa remembered that. She sprouted a tail and a pair of wings and her teeth became fangs. Me, how do you feel, Elisa? Elisa, amazing. I feel like I can do anything at night. Me, it's gonna take a while. Lincoln, yet. Me, let's go get Demona. We set out to get her. On the rooftop of a skyscraper was Demona. She a rogue gargoyle from the clan that was a devious one. We landed behind her and Demona saw us. Me, Demona, I presume? Demona, the famous JD. Knudsen of Team Loud Phoenix Storm. How nice of you to arrive. I see you brought Goliath in the clan with you. Me, yes. Before we fight, answer me this. Why do you hate all of humanity so much? Demona, because all humanity has to pay for the way they treat us. Humanity is a poison that must be purged from this planet. Me, in my head, I sense a spark of good still inside her. Out loud, Demona, listen to yourself. You have no right to decide that. What happened back then was over 1,000 years ago and the Vikings no longer exist. The past is the past and we have to learn from it so it can never happen again. Your hatred towards all of humanity blinds you to the truth. We humans are all capable of error and it's been that way for eons. Humans and gargoyles also can learn how to coexist with one another. It's not too late for you, Demona. You still have a chance to redeem yourself and you and Goliath can be together again. Demona then began to let my words sink in, but the darkness in her heart was too strong. Demona, no. All humanity must pay for everything they did to us. Me, then let me show you the error of your ways by force. I fired a blast of light at her and she was enveloped in a pitch-black aura. It separated from her and Demona fell to the ground on the roof unconscious and we were facing dark Demona. Me, now to make sure you never terrorize the worlds of human and gargoyles again. I snapped my fingers and she turned into a human. Dark Demona, what's happening to me? Dark Demona's wings were painfully vanishing into her back. Dark Demona, I'm becoming human. But it's still nighttime. She had her appearance as a human. Dark Demona, what did you do to me? Me, I turned you into a human forever. Dark Demona, irritated, oh great. It's bad enough that I'm a human forever. But right now, my gargoyle outfit is revealing too much of my body. Me, no worries. I snap my fingers and she now has medieval style clothes on. Me, this is now gonna be your fate. So get used to it. Wolverine and Beast Boy, let's get her without combo Beast Boy. Beast Boy, you got it. Beast Boy turned into a griffin and Wolverine grew his claws. Wolverine and Beast Boy, Griffin Slasher Cauterizer. Wolverine's claws glowed red hot and they slashed Dark Demona and burned her badly. Me, that'll show you how powerful we are. I beamed Dark Demona to the Uranus prison. Lincoln, that's it for Dark Demona. Me, yep. Now we wait to see if our spell worked. But let's make one more stop. We left and went to David Xanado's office. We told him that we were going to arrest him. We stripped him of his assets and more. Nico, to Xanado's, don't worry. Your wife and son will be taken care of. After all, any good husband and father in your line of work would make arrangements in case something happened to him. His wife Fox and his son Alex were placed in our custody and protection. We waited until sunrise and when it did come the clan started changing. Me, this is it guys. Cover your eyes. We did so. Angela's fangs were becoming human teeth. Her wings went into her back and her feet became human feet and her tail was gone. Angela, it's like my body's on fire. Me, it's alright guys. It's gonna take a while for you all to get used to. Trust me. The same things happened to Goliath and the clan members in Elisa. When it was done they were fully human but their clothes were hanging down. Angela, blushes, I never thought that my clothes would be so revealing. Eliza, covers her indecent body, I'm just glad no perverts are watching right now. Me, I'll fix that. I snapped my fingers and they became medieval style clothes from the 13th century and Elisa had her normal clothes on. We uncovered our eyes and admired their looks. Me, you guys look amazing. Goliath, we do look great as humans. Brooklyn, Who would imagine that we would be perfect as humans? Lainey, you guys are turning into gargoyles at night. Nico, you can now walk in both worlds. Me, that's right. We later went back to the estate and introduced everyone to them and more. Part 2, Terror of Giselle Razor. We were having tea. Very. Hey JD, can I ask you a question? Me, sure. Very. How did you capture that monster girl Giselle Razor? Me, size, that is a story I haven't told in a while. It was 3 months after I moved here to Michigan. Flashback. Me, narrating. I was walking down the street and it was a strange part of town. When I heard a voice. In an alley I saw Giselle Razor holding Lewin by her neck and she was getting ready to stab her with a knife. Just as she was about to stab her, I grabbed Giselle by the arm. Past me, leave her alone you, censored. I twisted her arm and she dropped the knife. I then punched Giselle in the face and kicked her in the stomach and kneed her in the face and threw her into the local police station. Me, I threw her into the police station and saved Lewin from her brush with death. After that we went to her trial to testify against her. Like I said on our global trip, they had to keep her chained up in a clear plexiglass bulletproof glass case to prevent her from doing anything because of her extremely violent nature. They found her guilty on all her crimes and sentenced her to 20 life sentences without parole in the Central California Women's Facility. Flashback end. Me, and that's how I threw Giselle Razor, the terror of Royal Woods, into prison for the rest of her miserable life. Lincoln, wow. Lori, that girl literally deserved it. Me, yep. Lainey, what combos did you guys use in the game? Ink. Me and Girl Jordan were facing Madame Rouge and we used a combo we called Acid Ink Torrential Deluge. Girl Jordan, it was a wave of acidic ink and it dissolved Madame Rouge in an instant. Me, wicked cool. Vince, yeah. Calypso, me, Lainey and Shannon were fighting the Skeleton Man and Jaguaro and we used a combo called Jungle Dragon Destroyer. Lainey, it was a combo that turned Calypso into a giant dragon made of leaves and it breathes fire onto the enemies. Shannon, it was awesome and we killed them both in an instant. Lynn, I saw it. Tara, it was cool too. We used a combo on Freddy Krueger. Ace, yeah. We called it Volcanic Teleporter Shower. Lynn, me and Tara made rocks and covered them in white hot lava and Mariah teleported them and rained them down onto Freddy Krueger. Me, wicked job guys. How are you feeling Tara? Tara, the mood swings and unusual cravings have come. But so far so good. Me, good. Part 3, Impossible Odds. As we were relaxing we heard a massive explosion. Crabohohuam. Lainey, what was that? Me, an explosion. Let's go. We go outside and saw a girl with black hair, green eyes, and a green bodysuit. She was firing green blasts of fire at the ground and setting everything ablaze in an incredible inferno. Me, Shago. Draken is behind this. Maria, I got this. Maria spread her wings and went at her. Shago, Maria Rockle. Nice to see you. Fires a blast of green fire at Maria. Maria dodged it and fired water. It splashes her. Maria, nice to see you too Shago. You're looking good. Shago, same to you. Last I heard you were Aquamaria. Maria, I was until I got blessed by the water stallion of Tefnut in Egyptian myth. Extinguishes Shago's fire blasts with water. Shago, I've gotta ask. Why are you still with Draken even after his stupid schemes? Shago, that's none of your business. But if you must know, I only really stick with Draken so I can settle scores with Kimmy. Maria, really? Because from what I heard, you and Kim were best friends before. Shago, that was only because of the Attitudinator. Maria, really? Because it sounded like genuine friendship to me. And you are pretty powerful to be your own person. I know from experience that following the orders of incompetent villains isn't worth it. And trust me, Evan was an incompetent villain. In the Dakota City prison, Eben sneezed. Conger, you okay Monday? Eben, someone must be talking about me again. Shago, your point? Maria, well, there's also the fact that deep down, you miss your old teammates from Team Go. And I can sense some good still in you. And even if that isn't the case, do you really want to be Draken's lackey forever? Shago started to let Maria's words sink in as she was in deep thought. She knew that Maria was right and that she wasted her friendship with Kim for nothing more than it be a lackey to an incompetent butt-face that doesn't know squat. Shago, in her head, she's absolutely right. What have I done? Maria, Shago? Shago then hugged Maria and cried hard into her. She was crying loudly in total guilt over all the terrible things she did under the control of Draken. Shago, crying hard, Maria. I've been such a fool. Maria, it's not your fault Shago. Shago, yes it is. Crying, I've been a fool. Maria comforted her. Maria, it's all right Shago. It's not your fault. You can still make things right. We can punish Draken for his crimes and make him pay for everything he did. Shago, sniffles, how? Maria, we can find him and punish him for his crimes. Shago, sniffles, okay. Nico, you can lead us to his lair and we can bring him to justice. Shago, okay. And I have to make things right with Kim. Nico, okay. They were off to Draken's HQ. At the HQ, Draken's goons were patrolling the base. Draken goon steps into a puddle. What they? The puddle reveals Maria's smirking face. Maria, peekaboo. Grabs the goon and slams him into the ground. Nico and Shago blasted them into dust. Nico, let's go. We blasted in and found Draken with Kim possible tied to a table and a laser was about to slice her in half down the middle and Shago blasted the laser with her fire powers. Draken, Shago. You betrayed me. But why? Shago, don't be too surprised. With all your stupidity over the years, you knew it was only a matter of time until I ditched you. Nico, it's over Draken. You are finished. Nico went Super Saiyan and dashed and punched him in the face and kicked him in the crotch where the sun doesn't shine. Nico, let's use our combo on him Tony. Iron Man, you got it Nico. Nico threw an Iron Man suit at Nico and it enveloped him and he had a war suit on that was similar to Lex Luthor's. Nico, nice. Nico and Iron Man went at him. Nico and Iron Man, Iron War Suit Destroyer. They punched and pulverized Draken ferociously and beat him up really badly. Draken, you won. Finish me off. Nico, actually that wouldn't be any fun. So I have something else planned. Draken's mother, Drew Theodore P. Lipsky. Draken, mother? To me, you called my mother. Nico, smugly, I sure did. I know that Kim doesn't really want your fate to be too severe. So I decided to tell your mom what you've really been up to. Draken's mother pulls her son's ear. So this is what you've been doing in your free time. Well, no more. I am very disappointed in you. You're coming home this instant and you are grounded for 20 years. Draken cries hysterically as his mom drags him off. No. Please. Have mercy. Nico laughs. Now that's a fate far worse than death or imprisonment in one of our jails. Me laughs hysterically. That's so funny. Kim, that was fitting for him. Shago was on the phone with Team Go. Shago, Team Go, Shago here. Draken has been grounded by his own mother for the next 20 years. They cheered wildly. Shago was now the owner of Draken's HQ and we beamed it over to the estate and Shago decided to use it for benefiting all of humanity. Kim Possible and her fiancé Ron Stoppable now live in the estate with us. However, after the battle with Draken ended, things were not right over in the town of Middleton in Missouri. Kim's rival in her old school on the cheerleading squad, Bonnie Rockwaller, was now the most hated kid in the school. Let's just say that after the battle with Warmonga, karma bit her in the butt really hard. She was 1 credit short and was sent to attend summer school while everyone else partied. But the torment didn't stop there. It was discovered that she cheated in everything to get her way, and she was demoted all the way back to her freshman year in school. If you all thought that was bad, this was even worse. After this happened, Bonnie's mother disowned her and she was forced to live out on the streets because no one would take care of her. Her mother actually despises her with a grudge because of her smug, greedy, and narcissistic nature, and her sisters hate her too because they said that Bonnie brings nothing but shame to the Rockwaller name. She was also expelled from her school. So now she lives on the streets and knew that there was only one person to blame for all her misfortunes: Kim Possible. Bonnie, enraged, screaming, "Kim Possible, this is all your fault. I will hunt you down and I will kill you if it's the last thing I ever do. I will find you and I will have my revenge." Bonnie was going to make sure that Kim pays for everything she has done to her. So she set out for Gotham Royal York. Bonnie, Kimmy will never see me coming. She'd never expect that me of all people would try and take her out. At the estate we were having a nice talk with Kim. Me, so are you affiliated with the CIA? Kim? Kim, no. I'm not affiliated with any organization. I'm actually my own worker. Me, oh. Very, that's amazing. The alarm sounded and the computer popped up. We saw Bonnie heading toward us. Kim, that's Bonnie. Me, you know her, Kim? Kim, she and I were rivals at Middleton High School. She would do anything to get what she wanted and she hated my guts. After we graduated, Bonnie was sent to summer school for having 1 credit short. Me, looks like karma really did a bad number on her. Lainey, no kidding. Clayface, let me go to her first. Clayface became the principal of Middleton High School, Mr. Stephen Barkin. Me, who's that you turned into, Matt? Kim, that's our school principal, Mr. Barkin. Clayface, that's right. In Mr. Barkin's voice, she won't know the difference. Joe Swanson, hey, he sounds just like me. Me, he sure does, Mr. Swanson, and he also sounds just like Captain Flynn in Skylands. Lori, he literally does. Me, yep. Go get her, man. The doorbell rang and Clayface answered it. Bonnie, oh, Mr. Barkin. I didn't know this was your house. We snickered quietly. Clayface, disguised as Mr. Barkin, all right, Ms. Rockwaller. Time for your private lesson. Bonnie, but Mr. Barkin, you don't usually give us private lessons. And we don't usually have class outside unless there's cheerleading involved. Clayface then morphed back into his true form. Clayface grins evilly. That's not the kind of lesson I had in mind. Bonnie, you're not Mr. Barkin. Clayface turns hands into clay hammers. It's payback time, Bonnie. You're gonna pay for bullying Kim and Ron. Bonnie, I'll take what I deserve. But, do I know you? Kim, no, but you know me, Bonnie. Kim swooped in and kicked her in the face and sent her rolling, and she crashed into a bunch of tires. Bonnie got up and she did a lot of acrobatic moves and flips, and Lainey tied her up with her plant powers. Me, nice try, Bonnie. But you went into the grounds of the Team Loud Phoenix Storm estate. Later, Bonnie was arrested and sentenced to 50 years in the Antarctica prison. The end. Another fanfiction complete. Kim Possible and Gargoyles were 2 awesome shows on Disney. Gargoyles was awesome. Keith David did a great job voicing Goliath back then, from October 24, 1994 to February 15, 1997, and there were a lot of awesome plots in it. Kim Possible was awesome too. I love spy movies and all that action and amazing plots and more. Patrick Warburton did a great job in that show. Many voices did from June 7, 2002 to September 7, 2007, and Disney made 2 great and awesome shows. I wanted to make this a 2-part chapter. But because of my including of Giselle Razor, I went with a 3-part chapter. Venjedi 1995 gave me the idea for Gargoyles and I've been wanting to do a chapter for it for a long time. Nico-chan 11 gave me the ideas for this chapter. Thanks guys. Let me know what you all think. See you all next time.